What is up, everybody? This is Commander's Draft Show. Yes, we are here after the NFL draft. We are giving you our reactions to the 2025 class. A lot of things to talk about tonight. We're talking about from the first pick to the very last pick and give our thoughts in reaction to some of the draft picks we made. And is that enough for this upcoming season? So, buckle up with your crew. It's time for the Commander's Draft Show live. What is up, everybody? It is the Commander's Draft Show live on YouTube and on Twitter. It is your boy DT. We got Kyle in the room. Deuce and Smoke will be coming soon. Radar is somewhere in the chat. So we are here after the 2025 draft class has concluded. Every team has their players that they deem worthy of the pick. Undrafted free agency is still currently going on, still some couple of signings, but rosters are currently being set. So, Kyle, we are here after the last day of the NFL draft. How do you feel? How do you feel about this process? How everything went so far?
I feel vindicated to a point. A lot like Radar, I was arguing with people that Wiley should not be considered a guard. As much as everyone wanted Brandon Coleman to go to right tackle, my whole thought process was, wait a minute, like we have these DTs here that we have to face on the defensive line, and Wiley's not going to get that job done for you. He's specifically does not have the mass, the weight to be able to contend down there. And I thought Brandon Coleman does. And so obviously it still left room to be able to add. And they went and got Nate Herbig immediately after that, who was 6'4", 330-pound dude. So that kind of fits the bill. But I've said from the get-go that if you're able to add a tackle somehow, some way, besides Laramie Tunsil, of course, and move Brandon Coleman inside, and now you're having the battle for that left guard spot between Herbig, between Allegretti and Wiley, then now you're really cooking with gas. And that's what they did by going to get Josh Connerly. It's funny, I uploaded a film breakdown the day before the draft, and because like obviously I'm going in parallel with my evaluations with this show. And so we were like last week before the draft, let's go ahead and look at offensive tackles. So I looked at Connerly. I was sitting in the parking lot and I was like, I recorded these clips. I might as well upload them now. And luckily that was the day before, and that was our draft pick. And so vindicated to a sense of just how I feel about the offensive line and what is honestly needed. I know a lot of people will say that you're going to plug Coleman in at left guard. I disagree with that. I think it's right guard until Cosme returns. And I think Cosme could slide into left guard if Coleman does well enough at right guard. Now, Cosme is a good enough pro to be able to do that. He played left side at college. And I think that you feel more comfortable about that than you would about moving Coleman at this point. But I feel very vindicated after this draft class, especially with getting Jalen Lane, Jalen the fast lane. I think the kid is really going to help us on special teams immediately and force himself into the starting lineup.
Oh yeah. So just to share my initial reaction, uh, day one of the draft, I was at first, I think initially when players and like fan bases like they draft O lineman first, unless you feel like you don't necessarily need an offensive lineman at the top of the draft, you're going to get shocked a little bit. And I think for myself, I was shocked in a sense because based on how the board fell, there were edge rushers that, especially that they had top 30 visits, they share interest in, but they decided to take Josh Connolly with the 29th pick. Um, After reevaluating myself and starting putting sense and thinking like Adam Peters, I think this is a slam dunk pick because you're you're addressing something that has been a weakness for probably 3 to 4 years. The last time we had a solid offensive line that was consistent was probably 2016 with an explosive offense. And I think for this, they address mightily the offensive line with getting Laramie Tunzel, getting some guys to depth. You got Brandon Coleman, who can, quite honestly, like he can play both sides of the offensive line. You have Alec Grady, who showed he can play. You have Cosby, who's going to be coming back from injury. You have Andrew Wiley, who played way extremely better with an offensive coordinator that know how to utilize the talent of the offensive line. So when you add a Josh Connolly to the offensive line, you're adding bookends and you're able to put your best five out there. And then you're also having guys that have experience to make it your best seven. So you're deep at the offensive line. You're more athletic on the offensive line, and that will help with the run game. And that will also help with pass protection because a lot of people don't want to acknowledge, Kyle, that yes, Brian Robinson, like we've been screaming about getting a running back the entire offseason, but a lot of the faults are not on Brian Robinson.
Correct.
The line just fell apart down the second half of the season, and then with Jaden Daniels in terms of pass protection, like they would had a 6.9 pass protection percentage of pressures allowed. Then the second half of the season, when we started playing a little bit stiffer competition per se, especially with defensive fronts, it went up to 11.6. So they were able to get to Jada a little bit faster, and they had to adjust the offense to a little bit more quick games and stuff like that. So it gives insurance for your future, well, your starting quarterback, your franchise quarterback, and it also enhances the offense to extreme more levels to be more versatile in the run game, be able to build the clock and everything like that.
You're playing the harp right now, DT. Because like a lot will be said about trying to protect Jaden Daniels, and I know Adam Peters talked about that, is being able to uh, protect that investment. But it, like you just talked about, that Josh Connolly isn't just a pass protector. The way that he has very light feet, very athletic, very good on pulls, either to the outside or the inside. You're talking about those design quarterback runs. He can
Yeah.
easily get outside for you. He's not somebody that's going to blow you away with like highlights of being able to run somebody over, getting pancake blocks and everything like that. He is much more so like a almost like a CIA agent in a way where it's everything is under the radar, but he gets his job done and you won't realize it because the credit will go somewhere else. But he
Mhm.
does exactly what he's asked to do. And he's very, very good at going against stiff, elite competition. His reps against JTT, Tuamulo from Ohio State, somebody who whooped up on Olu Fashanu in 2023. We can all go back to that. But he went into that game, held his own against him and Jack Sawyer. And then on top of that, the Abdul Carter aspect of it, holding him to 0 sacks just speaks to what Josh Connolly does. And that's that assassin of edge prospects that gets flown under the radar, very Jason Bourne-esque. And he's very good at what he does. And I think that the running game, you said it so well, that is going to help Jaden as well. Because if you have the threat of play action, which they didn't have last year, it's really going to make everything easier in the back end. And going against teams like Philly that would rather just rush 4 and sit 7 back and kind of strangle you to death, being able to run the football effectively against that front, adding Josh Connolly in the run game, I think is going to pay big dividends to forcing the defenses like Philly to have to dedicate another rusher in order to stop that run. And there it opens things up a little bit more for you.
Yeah, most definitely. Uh, Outlaw asked who was the better tackle, Coleman or Carnley. Well, if Carnley didn't come out this year, there was a lot of experts that would say he probably would have been a top 5 pick next year. So
Easily, it's Connerly.
yeah,
Easily.
I don't even think that's really a debate, and it's nothing against Coleman, but I think we've seen base for a year with Coleman at tackle, and not to say he can't get better at tackle either, but we see that when it comes to speed rushers, like playing Micah Parsons, Josh Sweat, and a lot of the guys we seen that was a weakness for him. And to see Josh Connolly when he played against Abdul Carter, who is very similar to a Micah Parsons, he literally kept him off the stat sheet in the Big Ten championship game. So you're also getting a guy that's a little bit more battle tested in terms of the competition they have played. playing in the Big Ten for one season, playing against guys that got drafted in the NFL draft. We just seen this weekend. I think you are going to have a guy that's going to be here for 10 to 15 years protecting Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, and it's nothing against Brandon Coleman. He's a good tackle. He did his own, but he's up there at like 330 pounds. Very thick kind of guy. Where Connerly at this moment is about 311, 20 pounds less. And that is what you want out of a tackle, because out of a tackle going against speed rushers, like you talked about, you have to be able to have that athleticism, that speed to be able to match, right? You want to be able to match that defender as they're crushing into the pass rush, not to allow them behind you with that athleticism, but also not to get bull rushed, which is literally only Connerly's kind of critique and getting better at, is being able to anchor more, right? But he does a pretty good job at still not allowing sacks in that regard. Yes, they do get pressure, but it's not like he's doing a great job being able to stand that up and regaining control. But for the most part, when he's going against speed rushers, he knocks them out of the park. And with the Giants acquiring Abdul Carter, it was a big middle finger, because of, like, you got Laramie Tunsil, right? I did this on my pod earlier, so forgive me. You got Laramie Tunsil. You got a combination of Allegretti. You have Herbig. You have Wiley, possibly, if you want to as well. You got Badass. You got Coleman. And then you got Connerly. And now you can actually make a fist and punch somebody in the mouth, because before there was a lot of holes there. You didn't have a full fist. And now there's an actual fist. This is reminiscent of how the Washington teams of past would be built. And this is what they kind of need to bring back that physical nature of Washington, of being able to run the ball down your throat and you not being able to do anything to stop it. I love Brandon Coleman, but just given with his weight and his mass and his athleticism, I think he's a really good, really, really good guard for you, and an emergency tackle if you need him to be.
Yeah. What's up, Smoke? How you doing tonight? You definitely came in on the right conversation. Share your thoughts on the first round pick, Josh Connerly.
Oh, I absolutely love it. Protect the investment. I mean, that's what I've been preaching the last couple of weeks, man. Just protect the investment. Hey, man, I did a lot of film the last couple of days on this guy, and man, he's a dog. I love his feet more than anything. He takes the defender. What I mean? He let them go where they want to go. If you want to try to loop around, I'm going to continue to push you around. What I mean? Stuff like that. So I love this pick, man. Solidifies that offensive line. Hey, man, we hit on this one. That's two in Adam Peters' first two drafts that he hit on. I mean? Kyle just spoke on the addition of a Laramie Tunsil. I mean? Stuff like that. We got a Cosme coming back, more than likely midway towards the latter part of the season. This offensive line, if we talking about just going into last season and then actually going into this season, 10 times better on paper, if you ask me. 10 times better. But I understand you got to get out there, compete in training camp, win a job, and put it all together. But
Yeah, to be honest with you, with Connerly, I said this earlier on Twitter, but if you really want a good compare and contrast with him, it's watch Ariante Ursary from Minnesota going against Abdul Carter. And Abdul Carter was the one thing about Ariante is he's very susceptible to giving up inside rushes. So whenever you step inside, he allows a clear path to be able to get to the quarterback. Connerly, you could see here being able to adjust in that sense. And Abdul Carter did a work on that offensive line for Minnesota. And so you can really see the difference between the two. And we talked about it earlier. Connerly really was the last startable tackle in the NFL in the draft, if you really think about it. And so I can understand where they're going with, we're not going to be able to get a starting tackle later on. We could get a good rusher. We could get a good wide receiver, running back later on. Of course, we could get a possible corner as well. And so that's why, looking back on it, I'm like, okay, I totally understand it. I didn't see it truly before, but because I didn't see the Abdul Carter reps, but this is somebody, honestly, that should have gone top 10. If you're just talking about startable tackle that could come in and go against elite competition, he fits the bill.
Yes. And the thing is, though, like, what really shocked me in the draft was what the Texans did. I understand, they were looking for some ammo in the draft to move up certain spots, but they had an opportunity to actually take him early, but they traded out and then they wanted to trade back in to get him. So we definitely took a good opportunity to get a guy that could be here for 10 to 15 years. So if we were here right now, um, doing a starting offensive line, what would it look like with Josh Conley at the helm?
You want to go take a crack at it, Kyle? I got something in mind.
Sorry, I was replying to my father-in-law. He wished me
Okay.
a happy birthdays.
Oh
I
yeah,
had
happy
to-
birthday, happy birthday in
Happy
person,
birthday
happy
to
you
birthday in
already you
person.
already did on Twitter, dude. You don't
Yeah,
need
I
to do
know,
that
but
here.
in person,
But can
happy
you
birthday.
ask the question again, DT?
with Josh Conley now, what would the starting lineup look like in terms of the offensive line?
I think he's the starting right tackle.
Yes. So Tunsil, I'm gonna say Tunsil, Coleman, Biotis, Wiley, Conley. That's the start of the season off.
I really hope that Herbig makes the starting lineup. I think that his body type, his weight, sitting at 330, that's somebody you want in the interior. He is a chip on his shoulder. I don't discount Allegati and Nick Allegretti. I think that he's going to make it a very tough competition, but I love the thought of them two having to battle it out for a starting job rather than anointing them with a starting job, right? Personally, for me, I'd rather have Coleman on the right side because I don't want Connerly to be on an island on the right side. I want to be able to stabilize him with somebody who's been there, is not going to be kind of getting their butt whooped, right? Because if you're talking about a rookie, there is going to be growing pains. So I would like to have him next to Coleman and make the right side a fist as well, and not just the left side, right? Because if you plug in Herbig or Allegretti at the left side, you know that Tunsil and Badass are going to make him better just based on what they're going to be facing and what defenses are kind of doing. I'd rather that there than leaving Connerly on an island on the right side. I would like to distribute that strength.
My only kickback to that is, they're gonna, if that happens, the cohesion that they build between Coleman and Connerly over the first 8, 10, 12 possible weeks with Cosmic. If that cohesion is kicking, what does that say about Cosmic when he returns?
I think he can plug him. I think you feel very confident that he'll be able to play left side, no problem.
Okay.
He's smart enough, played many years in the NFL. He knows what the assignments are. So I think and he played left tackle in college. So the left side is something that he is used to. And obviously the
That's a good
kickback is
point.
not a concern. So I think that like at that point, you're playing your best five. And that is a very, very good thing to have going against the defensive lines that we are going to be facing this year.
Yeah, like goes to like what Deuce and I said, just when we got out of the season, and this was early on, like if we could, re-sign Noah Igbenogany, but make him a depth piece. We reworked Allegretti, and if we can make him, I mean, not rework Allegretti, rework Wiley, and make him a depth piece,
And that's what they
not
did.
technically a starter. That is great. That is great. That is, look how many starting games just those two names alone have. And that's what you kind of want, you know what I mean? But my bad, DT, go ahead.
I literally said, before you got up here, like your top 7 offensive linemen, with the exception of Cosby for a couple months, is good to go. Like you have so much experience, you have so much athleticism, which will improve the run game, the screen game. You give protection for Jaden, where we want the development to be more better as a passer. And the running game with the running backs, yes, we acknowledge that we need another running back to go with Brian Robinson and Eckler, but they can also help with the current running backs we have to improve the run game, to take pressure off of Jaden, where we don't have to win 35-34. We can win a comfortable 23 or 27-10 game because our run game is dominant, or Jaden Daniel has as much time as possible. Oh, what up, Bruce?
Happy birthday to you.
Oh man,
Oh, he giving him the black happy birthday.
what's up, dude?
Happy birthday. What's going on, fellas, man? This was
What's
a
up, man?
long weekend, man.
Definitely was.
Long weekend, man. How everybody doing, man? Chat, what's going on, chat? How y'all feeling in the Chizad?
Deuce is feeling a certain way tonight.
Nah, that was it. That's like all I got. I ain't even gonna lie. That's like all I got.
Hey, but for real though, we did a great job this season. Well, we got 4 out of 5, right, DT? Well,
Definitely.
4.5 out of 5. Because I'll say the film break that I did of Connerly the day before, we'll just add that in there.
Yep. 4.5 out of 5 of the offense. I mean, the picks we did this season. Shout out to us, man. We grind hard on the tape, man.
For real, like I probably would not have looked at all the people I did if it wasn't for this show. You know, it kind of forced me to have to look at guys in the back end of each position and everything.
Mhm.
I just think Deuce did it strategically so we wouldn't be looking at tackles.
And I was on the show. Me, Smoke, and Deuce. We were on the at the time we picked, and you know my reaction was, but then I started getting around. I was like, man, they protecting 5, man.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
That's what it's about, man.
Yep. But all right, man, let's go ahead and get to our second round pick. Trey Amos, the corner out of Ole Miss. This is a guy we definitely did on the show when we talk about the cornerback. I believe that was Smoke. That was your guy, Smoke.
Well, Trey, I think we did do a breakdown on him. You know, what I mean, I liked him. Great value at 61. Great value. Some people actually had a mock at the back end of the first round. For him to
Yeah,
go back into the second, hey man, what a blessing. I love how he gets up in your face. He wants to press you. He wants to, disrupt you as you're trying to get off the line of scrimmage. And guess what? That's what Lattimore does as well. When healthy, he wants to get up in your face. So I see this defense being a little bit more aggressive off the front. You know what I mean? Just get up in your face. Let that cornerback room help these edges. Let that cornerback room help this interior D line. The more they can hold up, the more that my front four can get there. So and that's what it's about, man. Sometimes you may not have to have one of the top 5 sack guys in the league, man. But if you get a combination of multiple sacks, and I'm gonna talk about sacks later because I was going back and forth with some guy on the timeline, bro. Like this is crazy, but I love it, man. I love Amos, man. At 61, great value, heck of a value, man. Famous Amos is what I'm calling him.
Holding everything back not to make a Kanye West joke after Smoke said that.
Hey,
but for real,
we got some new people in the chat. Look like DT Rochelle, I think.
I saw it. Eric Day.
Eric Day was good.
Oh,
they said,
"Hi, see how you peel off? You see that peel off?"
Go ahead, Kyle. You about to say something?
So after, I watched Trey Amos early on in the process, and I watched him specifically against LSU and Kyron Lacey. I have a lot of respect for what Kyron Lacey was able to do, and when you watch him, I honestly after watching him again in detail, I don't think there was a better corner in this draft class that's better at the catch point. Like he is literally every single
Great
time.
Hands.
His hand is in the way, and he is a problem in that aspect. There's one against Mason Taylor in the end zone where he jumps up and is able to swat the ball away from Mason Taylor, who's not a small guy. And he's somebody that makes wide receivers uncomfortable. And as much as he makes them uncomfortable, he's never uncomfortable. He's literally comfortable the entire time. And that's one thing about him that I really enjoy about his game.
DT, go back
That's
a little
the play.
bit.
That was the play.
Yeah, that's the play right there. His name is Dalvin. I found him. I could not go to sleep the other night without finding who.
There it is
in the bushes. It was Dalvin something. I put it in the tweet. Wide receiver number 15 for South Carolina. This the play right here. but he got pushed in the bushes.
That iconic photo. We've been waiting to find out.
Mhm.
There it is.
This the play right here. That's the play right there. I found like 3 angles of that play too, man. Look how he jumped them routes, man.
Like, he's not a big tackler. Like, he's not somebody that's going to wow you. But in the same breath, he does come up, like, he's not shying away from it by any stretch. But he's somebody, man, like, after watching him again, like, why did he even get to 61? And it's the same thought process with Josh Connerly. Because when you look at these cats, you're like, they're going against very good competition. They're strapping it down. They're not allowing anything really. And you have to feel great about it and being able to contribute to this football team.
Man, look at his reaction on that screen.
I love a corner that, as the receiver hands go up, his hands go in between.
Yeah,
Like,
it's insane.
yeah.
In every single one, Smoke. Every single one.
He's so physical at the point. And he's on, yeah. And he's honest too.
Look at his peel back though. Man, he studies film.
Yep.
I think he's better than Quignon.
That's another peel back, bro.
He had a few of them. The more you watch it, he had a few of those.
This is the play that really stood out to me. That zone
that
pushing off.
Yeah.
I love this.
Man, he has some good hands, man.
Can you think of a corner that has better on the at the catch point in this draft? And I really can't think. Like, I love Jahdae Barron, but Jahdae Barron doesn't play that way.
The next closest is my guy, BMO, Reginald Morrison. At the point of attack, like.
And he's played multiple. He played in multiple schemes, y'all. He played with Percy Butler, Andre Jones at Louisiana Monroe.
Amos Island.
He played at Alabama for I believe it was for a season.
1 season.
And then he goes to Ole Miss. So every year he's gotten better. Every year he has played stiffer competition.
Dude, did you see that play that he did? Remember when we did Ben Morrison and we talked about that straight line running the route for
That's what he did right there.
Yeah,
that play right there too. And on that peel, this guy's good, man. You would have thought he played receiver because he just knows where the ball is going. It's like he understands the target. He understands the placement. Even when he beat, even on that play where he's beat, he still.
You see how he just beat the dude to the inside off the break. The guy tried to set that route up. He said no.
Bro, it's no, bro. He does not have he does not have eyes in the back of his head. Right? I think we all can agree with that. He does not physically have eyes in the back of his head, right? How is he able to read and peel off plays the way that he's showing us? It has to be taped, like Smokey said. It has to be, bro. It has to be.
Did you see those 3 plays back to back where he's playing another route and reads the play and adjusts?
That's the peel back. Yep.
It's film study, bro. Has to be.
It's insane.
I
don't know how he didn't go in the first round.
Vito, relax, Vito. Look, he loves taking shots.
What's his name? Malik Harrison. Malik Harris. Yeah, he went in the first round over him. So I think
Maxwell Hairston.
Yeah, Maxwell. Yeah,
Maxwell. Yeah.
That is disgusting. That play right there. This one too. It's another one where he reads it. Look at him. Reads that. Boom.
That's gotta be film study, bro. Like,
and like with Harrison,
look how he closes.
My issue with Harrison was when it came to transitioning your hips to adjust to what a wide receiver is doing. He did not do it fast enough. I saw a lot of Trayvon Diggs in his game, where he is a ball hawk. He's able to make plays on the football, but in terms of his coverage sometimes can be up and down. Whereas with Trey Amos, with Benjamin Morris, like those guys, they are literally mere defenders.
He played against Jaden too, but that's the one game Jaden that got hurt.
Yep.
Yeah, when he was with Alabama.
Yeah,
Gross. That is disgusting.
there's some good defense, man. I like it. I love the pick. Can't wait to do more.
That one right there, the straight line.
Look at his
The
numbers.
transition right there is good too. Forbes can never put a dude in the bushes.
Yeah.
Forbes was the bushes.
Mhm.
This play right here, I love this play because we gonna need that, bro.
Our
Especially
second,
playing against the Lions and teams like that, man. They love them screens.
This back end gonna be so versatile. It's gonna be crazy.
See, look, even when he's beat, he understands point. Price.
Like right there, that shows you like he's reading the eyes of the wide receiver, which is something they tell you that vet corners in the NFL have. That's gross. That's disgusting, man.
Marshawn Lattimore, Trey Amos, Mike Sanders, Jonathan Jones, Noah Iganagami. That room is by far better than what we had to deal with last year. And Noah had extensive work last year as well. And then you add Jonathan Jones as well, who can play outside and inside.
And he can teach them kids the tricks of the game.
Yep, veteran experience.
Will Harris gonna teach these dudes how to be dogs. I can't wait. All right, who's next? I'm telling y'all, man, this drive was horrible, bro. It was a horrible drive, man.
See, look, I was getting down on myself because the whole edge, like I was so invested in edge. But then when they took Jalen Lane, like I was like, all right, I'm back up. I'm good now.
I ain't get my kicker.
I know.
Horrible drive.
Jalen Lane, wide receiver.
Thank you, Chuck. My man. That kid is fast, bro.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? He wear 83 just like Terry.
Look,
Hold up. We gotta go back. back.
He was 25 the year before too. So.
I'm not sure if he was 25.
I don't like that route so much.
So-
Like I thought I did.
Because
I saw a couple clips with him with 25.
it's because with Virginia Tech, 25 was Frank Beamer's number. And so if you have a really good game,
Oh, wait, go back. He couldn't do nothing with him. He tried to hold him and everything.
if you have a really good special teams
Look,
game or
he tried
whatever,
to hold him. Look.
the next week they give you the 25 number. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
So it goes to different players.
Hey man, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Well, that's good to know, Kyle. I did not know that.
Yeah.
He probably returned a punt or a kick and got the
Yeah. That's exactly
Beamer
right.
ball.
Oh yeah, he's definitely. I wish he had some clips, but he's definitely the return.
That's the one I uploaded.
No doubt.
He
The
turns
return.
around for the football.
Oh, he gonna be starting slot receiver too.
Oof.
Woo.
This reminds me so much of when we drafted Terry, and when we drafted Jamison Crowder.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Special teams guys that have extreme.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
When the last time we had a wide receiver?
That's
consistently?
disgusting.
Jaden
Y'all wanna
gonna
see that
love
again?
him, bro.
Yes.
Jaden gonna love him, bro.
Look at that, dude. At that 45 to the opposing 45, that acceleration was insane.
Jaden, man. Yeah, you right, Chuck. Like these kick returns, man, punt returns, they're gonna be trying to kick away from him, bro.
Mm-hmm.
We got speed. And I look like Luke did a good job kick returning, man, but it took him too long to get through them creases, man. Just imagine if he had this type of speed with the blocking that we had on those kick returns last year. Look, they so afraid to check him one-on-one, bro.
Mm.
Now that's a route. You see that L?
Ooh.
Go back to that L, bro. That's a L. Right angle, left angle, whatever you want to call it. Look at that high. Look how he stayed on that line. Look how he run down that line.
That's my boy, man.
Woo.
There's that 25 smoke.
Okay. Yep.
Oh man. Oh, look how he turned this. Look. That's what happened when you're on. See, he got horrible hips. That's what happened when you're
He had to
on.
wait.
A better ball. That was a touchdown.
Yeah, he had to wait for that ball.
Had Jalen Hurts at quarterback.
Oh, my goodness.
Virginia Tech has been so bad at developing quarterbacks.
Man, him and
we
the
pick
fade
up one
right
of
out
theirs?
the slot. Sheesh.
Oh,
The fade right out the sleep gonna be crazy.
I love this pick. He gonna get some reps, dog. I'm telling you.
oh no, he 100% is. That's one of the best plays I saw him make.
serious. He takes route running serious too.
Ralph's looking a little more Chris than Jahan. Yeah, I know. Hey,
Definitely
Jahan
better
wearing
than
83
Deion.
right now.
I done seen
Yeah, I
him run at least
know.
four.
Oh, he
four-
faster than Yami too.
I done seen him run at least 4 branches. That's
The
just
problem was
that's the straight drag. Like you
he-
just can't beat me.
he wasn't very productive this year, specifically
crazy.
because we just couldn't get him the ball.
Yep, that's what I said yesterday. Exactly
So
what
y'all
I
best
said
players were
yesterday.
Jalen Lane and Tutton. That's
On offense.
That's amazing, man. Hold up, bro. I seen catch. Oh my god.
Sometimes Hermit, like some guys, like they have crazy speed, bro. They routes don't need to be crisp. They can loop their routes a little bit because they're so fast. You just can't do nothing about. Look at that. I mean, that's a beautiful route right there, though. That's the best one we've seen in this.
But you
He's
guys
more
know
like the 5'10", 5'11" ish.
5'10", 190.
Even that, like that's a great route.
Like you guys know how hard it is to
That's
go
a great
full
route,
speed, plant your foot in the ground, and go in the other direction in a quick
it's
manner.
cra-
And
yeah.
he makes it look easy.
I like that one.
Love that.
Oh yeah, Vito made a good point. The competition. Oh my gosh, in practice. Oh,
That's like every position. It's outside of quarterback. That's every position. Competition.
I can't wait.
Except for quarterback, middle
And kicker.
linebacker, and kick. Well, punter.
That was
I
for
ain't gonna say
dudes.
kicker. Yeah, but
Did we get a punter?
competition
Man,
at
I
every
haven't
position.
been really looking at Twitter today. I've been so big. Did they sign an undrafted kicker?
No.
No.
Okay.
I don't think they did.
Okay. We got a long time though. We got a long time.
All right. Next up is Kane.
I have to say tight end.
You got some?
Real quick before we move on, though, can you look up Jalen Lane punt returns?
Yes, I can.
Just real quick.
Oh, they got punt return? Yeah, they got
Yeah.
tape on punt
He
return.
get that thing and go. That's what I said yesterday. Like when we drafted him, the whole space.
I mean, I haven't
crashing
seen
out,
anything yet, but I know
whole space crashing out. I'm like, man, this guy's a special teamer, man.
Wait, why did people crash out?
bro.
Because they didn't get who they wanted. They like
I'll just say tight
when you
end
get
one.
influence of running back should go here, and we still ain't get an edge, and you know what I mean. Like it's just the influence, man. And people were crashing out yesterday afternoon.
Somebody's always crashing out over something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Jaylen Brown just almost fell.
Bro. Man, when the last time
today,
we had
man.
somebody that could do that, man?
Hey, man, look at him go. Look at him. Yeah, I saw this clip yesterday. Whoop, whoop. Yep. Get it out of there.
That's a face mask too.
He
Yep.
wore 25 the week after. I'm trying to tell you. That's
Yep.
where he wore 25.
That's exactly right.
You do some Beamer ball stuff, man. Like, yeah, I forgot all about that. I knew it, but I didn't know the number and stuff like that. But man, that's what's up, man.
When the last time we had somebody do that, man? Santana?
We gonna flip the field.
Hold on,
Yeah.
hold on.
We gonna
We
flip.
ain't gonna disrespect Crowder like that.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot.
He got walked down though.
But nah, he was doing it when he was younger though.
Yeah, he was.
He was doing it when he was younger. He was
Ooh.
good. He was good.
Still
Man,
going.
yeah. Some of Jaden gonna have. Jaden might not break that passing record. We always on day 40.
You see how somebody else was wearing 25 there, Smoke?
Yeah.
You see Tutton was wearing 25?
Yeah. That's what's up.
New stadium. Yeah, that's gonna be a whole nother podcast. Oh my lord.
That's Pops.
Yeah, he over here geeking about the new stadium. Man.
We're going back home.
Going back home, baby. Yes, sir. 11 a.m.
And we talk about your guy, man. Yeah, shake it.
I got a picture of him. I got a picture of Speed, baby. Take the top off. Take the top off.
That's right, Pops.
Got that old line that Dallas had. That old line.
Cut up, man. Yo, I love the Jalen Lane pick, dog.
I talked about him like April 14th to AWOD on the radio. And I said the other Jalen, because I was a big Noel fan, Jalen Noel. I was like, the other Jalen that needs to get shouted out is Jalen Lane. His measurables are insane. 4.3, 440, 11.2 broad, and then 11.2 broad and then a 40-inch vertical. He's explosive, man.
All right. Kane Medrano. We talked about him a little bit on the pod. We shared some thoughts about him. I would say it was a surprise pick, but not a surprise pick because the depth at linebacker was definitely thin after Wagner and Luvu. They did have Jordan McGee, and they converted Dominique Hampton to linebacker. So you bring in another guy to add to the room. He also had a great combine as well. So what are y'all thoughts on him in the linebacker room?
He's a converted wide receiver playing linebacker. He has the measurables to be able to say that he can play linebacker. Biggest issue right now is tackling, and that's going to obviously be fixed on, and Ken Norton having some experience with him is going to be able to work with him. But I think he's at his best when he's rushing the quarterback and approaching the backfield like so. When he's very good at creating pressure, and the one standout plays you see from him a lot happen when he's blitzing. And I think that if you're looking for that Frankie Luvu backup, Kane Medrano can easily do that for you. There's another example.
That's what I said. I said this is the Luvu backup. And I actually called it when we did spotlight him in our linebacker coverage. I said 4th, 5th, or 6th round. He went in the 6th round to us. You know what I mean? And he got some great traits, man. Great speed. He combine warrior. You know what I mean? I know Deuce don't like that, but that's what he did. You know what I mean? But film is okay. You know, like Kyle say, struggles, you know what I mean, to, make that tackle sometimes when he closes in. But, hey, Ken Norton Jr. is right there to, coach this guy up, man. This is a guy that I see this year making the roster, but more than likely contributed a lot on special teams because of his speed and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Especially kickoff return team and things of that nature. So I'm not mad at this pick, man. We got to start getting a little younger in certain places, adding a little speed in certain places, and this was a great pickup by AP.
Yeah, I think like this late in the run in the draft, you're going to get some guys that have major weaknesses, right? And his is obviously tackling, breaking down. Kind of, he's a little OC at times, right? Like he kind of over pursues. But
Yes.
he's a playmaker, right? I mean, he works hard. He's always where he's supposed to be. So getting someone this late in the draft is probably not somebody you're looking to start right away. But you never know. Like, he has everything that you will want in a linebacker, and if they can fix that one thing, I think you absolutely have a stud.
Strong safety.
I mean, I can definitely see that, but I think they're going to ask him to bulk up a little bit. And I think the special teams aspect is on par with what you kind of want to do. The Nick Ballore type, and then he can work his way up. But that would really force him to make those one-on-one tackles in space, and maybe which is a good thing for him.
Mm-hmm.
That kid is fast, man. And he understands route concepts. He can cover too.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at
He
that.
can cover too. Because they look, Bobby, hey, man.
I can see him on sub packages. I can see him sub packages when it's like 3rd and 11 and stuff to help with coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the preseason is going to be really big for him because I think he's going to be starting him and McGee. So it's going to show a lot.
Yeah, I'd like to see something happen too.
Yeah.
Like, that's one right there. You have to, I know Caleb is good, man, but you got to make that tackle. Look, it's gonna work in progress, but like you said, dude, this far back, and also to add on to it, the relationship with the coaching staff, and of course, Adam Peters is gonna love being able to.
Oh no, didn't Norton coach him?
He coached him at UCLA.
Yeah.
So having that experience with him, that relationship, you know what the kind of guy you're gonna get, how he's receptible to coaching and getting better and everything. And that's somebody that you can feel comfortable with. Jacory.
Mm-hmm.
Jacory Krosky-Mara. This was one of the underrated guys I hinted at.
Yep. I distinctly remember
that. Did we take him in the last round of the mock?
We took him the last round of mock, and this was a guy I was like, I would not be shocked if we pick him.
If it wasn't for DT saying something, I would not have remembered him throughout the draft. But like when we kept pushing running back down, I was like, DT did talk about they met with him multiple times and they like him. And one reason he would fall is because of his ineligibility. But DT was right.
Only played one game this year, and that was the last game he played. He had 13 carries for 107 yards with Arizona.
So I want to talk about that. So the first game he played in this year was against his former team in New Mexico, right?
Yep.
Dude, something tells me they were pissed off that how he did that game, and they made a call to the NCAA. And they were like, hey, man, you should check on his eligibility. I promise you, that's what my first thought was.
That sounds like some the DCIAA stuff, don't it, Smoke?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I had at least,
like
I had at least 4 guys on my senior team, bro, that halfway through the year, they said they were ineligible. Man, they had to go to what is it, like it's not court, but it's like a
it's a hearing.
Yeah, hearing and all that, because they're gonna try to make us forfeit games, bro. Them dudes is cheating, man. They had somebody to change their social security card.
No way.
I mean, the birth certificate. Yeah, man. And some teams were like, because we beat them, so we dogged them teams, and a lot of people knew them, so they snitched. Just like exactly what you just said, Cal. That's what they did. They was like, oh nah, y'all need to check his eligibility because he this and that.
Yep.
Change their age on a birth certificate.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about like DCIAA. You can't be like 18 at a certain month of the year coming into your senior year, or 19. So some kids that might stay back in elementary school, that come back to haunt them.
I'll tell you, one thing that stands out about him is his catching. So he definitely fits that dynamic running back that they kind of alluded to with the John Keim tweet, where you see him in the short yardage, you see him being explosive, but you also seeing him being able to utilize his hands when asked to. I think you're on Good job, DT. This one's you.
What? Oh, wait a minute. Go back.
Oh yeah, you wasn't here. Hold on.
Wait a
Hey,
minute. Go back. Wait a minute. Wait.
he's a,
What
he's a
was?
dog.
Whoa. What
Oh,
is
he
that?
wasn't here for that episode?
No, he wasn't here. We didn't.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
What is this?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What is that?
He's a dog, man.
Bro, I've never seen that, bro. I've never seen that type of I don't even know what you call it. That look like a stanky leg cut, jump cut. Yeah, I've been seeing this one.
Oh.
Sheesh.
Is this the shrine? Yeah.
That was the Shrine Ball.
Yeah,
that was the whole argument. Nobody wanted Shrine Ball backs. But guess
Oh.
what? I win. I win.
And I do gotta talk to Telly because Telly told me we were gonna take 2 running backs and I was gonna like it.
Oh,
And I'm glad to see Smoke didn't have to leave Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, sir.
I called him right after the pick.
Taylor Lane. That's my guy. He saved me.
What I was gonna do without you, Smoke?
I don't know what I don't like this guy right here. We invited someone to our rookie mini camp
Mm.
from UCLA named Keegan Jones. I'm sitting here looking at some stuff. He's a punt returner, kick returner, running back, and wide receiver. He
Timothy-
don't got no wiggle for me.
Timothy, I feel your pain, man. The Eagles took 2 of my favorites. I feel your pain. They got Antoine Powell Ryland and they got Andrew Makuba. So it's going to kill me to say that they suck now.
Yeah, everybody had a good drive. NFC East should be very, very competitive, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
And the Giants got Cam Scatabo too. So they're going to.
yeah. He looked like he from New York.
They ain't got no money to update their budget. Let me see you do some charity and do Shrine Bowl South. You a Prince, send some money. Prince South.
He has every element of the game. He has the speed to separate the explosion. He has the tough running. The pass blocking leaves a little bit more to be desired, but I mean, he does fit the bill. Goal line, explosion, being able to cutting ability to get out like in a phone booth, like Bijan Robinson is so good at. I saw that live against us this year where you thought you had him dead to rights and he just pops out of it. Like, oh my gosh. And that's somebody that he's going to be fun to watch, especially in the preseason to see what we got.
Mm.
Look at Slim comment. Yeah, these dudes finna competitively lose to the Manders.
Shout out to my Caps 5-2. Shout out to them. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Oh man.
Man, Thor was my boy, and he had to give us a C+ grade for the whole draft. Come on, Thor. I thought you were cool, bro.
Yeah, a lot of people wanted us to go edge.
So, and this is where I was thinking, Deuce, when it came to edge rusher. Like, yes, there were guys up there that we brung in for visits or we interviewed them in the combine and stuff. But what if they feel like those edge rushers were just pass rushers and not defensive ends? What if they can't necessarily help you stop the run and get to the quarterback? Because the way this defensive line looks, they have guys that can help stop the run, which was a big critical issue last year. But to be honest with you, when we talked about Donovan Ezeraku, like, and I'm not just saying it because he had the jersey 6, but there was a lot of things that I saw that looked very similar to what Dante Fowler did for us. He got sacks, but he couldn't stop the run. He was just a one-down player. Or Mike Green. Mike Green probably had the issues and stuff, so that's probably why they won't consider this. But also, like, this room, they had 43 sacks last year, and they were like 11th.
See, I don't get that, right?
If you group them together, they
so
seven.
hold on, stay right there, right? This is what I got in the argument about earlier, right? Listen. How is it 11th? How, DT?
Smoke. So this is how you got to look at it. The way you're looking at it is you're grouping.
Yeah.
You're grouping. So when you group them together, you get 7.
So that's what I'm
So
saying.
when you're looking at stats
if-
by itself, it's going to
but-
say 12.
But I'm saying, so how can you say a team that got 43 sacks together, how can you say they 10th and we 11th?
Because it has to be like you can't.
We
You
both
can't,
played
like-
17 games. We both
I mean,
ended up with 17 sacks.
some stats you look at. I forgot what sport it is, but they'll have like it'll be like one will have 17, and then they won't have a number the next time, but it'll say 17, and then it'll say like 3. But I think
So it's
you
on
just-
like 17
you're-
and then it say 20.
yeah, so like you're just looking at it in groupings. So when you're looking at it in groupings, they're grouped together going down, they're number 7.
Yeah, so like,
But
like
it
my
has to
thing
be a
is-
1. It has to be a 1 through whatever.
Yeah, I know. So like the way I look at it is 1, 2, 3, they were separated. 4 and 5, they had the same amount of sacks. So I say they tied for 4th. 6, 7, 8, they tied for 5th.
Yeah, because
know what I mean?
you're grouping it. That's
Because
why.
it's the same. They got the same. So I can't say because how
Yeah,
do
but you just like
so if
just
my
think about it
name-
like this.
so
Think
does
about
that
it
go
like this.
alphabetical? Like if my
Think
name
about it
was-
like this.
It might
And
come down to
seed-
strength
and-
of
and
schedule.
Yeah, and like seeding, right? When you're seeding for the playoffs,
Mhm.
like you have to have a 1 through 7, even if they have the same record.
But like, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you, right? So it was us and the Jets, I believe, had the same amount of sacks. If that was the case, Deuce. You know what I mean? So, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
But
That's why I said 7
but listen though,
or 5.
if you have the same amount wins and losses, the next step identifies
Right.
if you're going to be before them or after them.
It could be based on pressures.
Yeah, it could be based on
strength of
pressure, it could
schedule.
be based on schedule, anything. Like we don't know, but it's the same concept.
And I know that's what JP Finley tweeted about us being 11th, right? And this is the one like saying, well, I understand what people wanted edge, but they were 11th in sacks. Like, dude, you were just tweeting about Josiah Stewart a week ago. You know, I don't want to hear this. But last year, they depended on rushing extra guys in order to generate those sacks and to simulate the pressure. Now, I can understand from their viewpoint of saying, even if we added a defensive end here, that would not correlate into getting the pressure that we want. So what we're going to do is we're going to dedicate it to the boundary, the secondary with Trey Amos to get coverage sacks. And depending on the guys that we have now, and DT, I'm right there with you. I wanted edge, but I can understand from their viewpoint of saying the free agency guys that we can bring in here will be able to replicate what a rookie would do, but we can also add a starting tackle, a starting corner. We can add in a fast guy at wide receiver with only 5 draft picks. I feel like that kind of they looked at the options and the quality of production and edge is probably more so than at tackle, at wide receiver and such. And so they viewed that and scaled it and said it's probably better to go through the draft, not hitting edge. And I can understand that.
Yeah, because they looking at it as a group, just like Herman just said. That's how they're not looking at sacks like from a singular person, you know, but they're probably thinking of, you know, we're gonna bring pressure different types of ways. Just like you mentioned, DT, about not just getting a pass rushing edge, but really all we have now is run stopping edges. You know what I'm saying? So you could have added
Probably
one.
rotating to a 34.
You know what I mean?
Like I
Did we get any undrafted? Did we sign any undrafted?
I haven't seen none yet.
edges?
Nah. But like,
Oh,
like,
like,
yeah, y'all can take
where does
I can
player
take that edge
development
stuff and
come?
shove it.
Yeah,
Hold on,
exactly.
but like, where does something like player development come with this coaching staff and having them compete with the starters, of Jean Baptiste or whatever it is? You know what I mean? Like, we don't know the leap that they can take until they actually see them on the field.
Yeah.
I'll say with Javonte Jean-Baptiste and the guys that we have on the roster, I consider them persistent pass rushers. And a good correlation or comparison is Ryan Kerrigan, a persistent pass rusher, right? And so I can understand from their viewpoint of saying, if we stabilize the secondary in the back end, those persistent guys are going to have a lot more opportunities. Rather than relying on speed to get our sacks, why don't we shore up the back end based on what we have at our disposal? And then those secondary members can force the sacks for our persistent guys. With Javonte is not going to generate the speed. He's not going to be the guy to be able to whip around the edge of a tackle and be able to get you a sack very quickly. He's much more so of the workhorse and being able to get after one. And so I think that we just have to be a little bit honest with it. And I think from a schematic standpoint, they're saying shore up the back end, get coverage sacks rather than getting speed to get sacks. And I can understand that. I do. As much as I was wrong, I can admit I was wrong.
Like my
Yeah.
thing is, go ahead, dude.
No, you good. Go ahead, Smoke. Go ahead, Smoke.
No, so like for example, we literally watched Cliff scheme up things against Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, Brian Burns, like those caliber edge rushers, right? And we held a lot of them to no stats at all. So my thing is that if a coordinator on the offensive side can do that, where if they are doubling or chipping the edge, why my other guys not winning their one-on-ones? And that's my biggest problem with my D-line. If they're doubling a Daron Payne or Newton, somebody got to win. I don't care if you're a dominant edge, if you can have the most bend or whatever. If you're not winning, what good am I? We saw all the pressures in the world a few seasons ago with the two guys we had here. It just wasn't calculating the sacks.
And that's where Javon Kinlaw comes into play. And that's why they paid a lot for him. The one thing you could say about Javon Kinlaw is he's a freakish athlete and a very good rusher against one-on-ones.
Mm-hmm.
And just freeing everybody up is going to make everything a lot easier. Something that Ian actually brought up today on our show was that Newton in college even played the 5-tech out wide.
Yep,
we
did.
saw Daron Payne do that too. And so I can understand what they're saying is we can actually move those guys outside and still be able to replicate the pressure that we want out of these persistent guys.
And
when John Allen
goes to
came
Herman.
back, okay, my bad. Go ahead.
No. I mean, I think you about to say he went to the 5 technique because they was doing more of that before he went out, and he would be that guy. And then they started moving Payne out there, but it was just that 0 tech. That's why they started using Sheldon Day.
Yep.
Yeah,
because Newton's just not strong enough right now, right? So, but that's to go to what Rob is talking about is that they snuck that in there. We ran a lot of 3-4 looks last year. I mean, if you even look at the commander site, Furrow and number 6, both of them was outside linebackers.
Or was it more of a 3-3-5?
I mean, whatever it was, they were outside linebackers, and we had like 3 down linemen, and they was like blitzing from the edges, or you would see Louvu up there at the edge.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it had a lot of that like 5-2 look, right? Not so much 3-4, probably a 5-2 look.
Yes.
When you got those outside linebackers that's actually because they stood up a lot.
Yeah, and that's exactly
stood up a lot.
And that's what a lot of people were saying about because Dante Fowler was standing up a lot when you did watch him, right? And that goes to your point. And it makes you wonder about the guys that they did bring in here because they're not that tall.
Yeah, like who was going to be like,
right.
I don't know what they think they're going to get from him. I don't know. Like who is going to be those guys that's going to stand up? Like who's going to be those 2 outside guys in that 5-man front? I don't know.
Jacob Martin.
Yeah, I mean Dorrance Armstrong, maybe. I mean, they had him at the 5 technique a lot last year, especially after like the first few games. So almost gonna be something to watch.
It's gonna be a fun summer, boys.
Yeah.
Not a competition.
I wouldn't say we're loaded with linebacker bodies. It's almost like I know they're telling Don Hampton to bulk up. I think Mark Tyler said he's up to 245. But at the end of the day, the linebacker spot we knew coming into this was thin. And so I don't think that we have the linebackers to play the 3-4. But we'll see what they want to do. Of course, you could have formations and certain plays to be able to have a 3-4, but it's not like that's going to be your base or something you're regularly
They
going to
can't
run.
cover. Like they can't. Like even last year, Farrell and Fowler, they're not covering nobody.
No.
So
Like statues.
It's more of a run defense.
Yeah.
Than anything. So.
If they were to address edge via free agency, like vet free agency, what's one that you guys got your eyes on?
I'd rather trade.
Okay.
That'd be interesting. I mean, I looked at that list they had out there. I'm not trying to pay any of those guys a whole rack of money.
Yeah, I'd rather get Henderson.
Yeah, I'm not trying to pay those guys a whole rack of money, man. But it just depends. Like I would like to know like what they look like last year. We can bring us some guys that we can maybe not play heavy snaps. Bring them in on like a pass rush specialist, something like that. Some of those guys is up in age. That's kind of on the downside of their heel. And can generate pressure every night, and also be a willing teacher to some of the young guys.
Yeah.
So all eyes on Cincinnati. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got your answer. I'll probably just trade for Trent Henderson for real.
Yeah.
Don't feel like trying to get a Darius Smith or a Von Miller.
Preston Smith.
If we're serious about contending for a Super Bowl, that's the move you make.
That's the move you make. That's the move you have to make.
Yeah.
That's the move you have to make. And it's not so much, and I know like when Smokey was talking like development and what these guys are gonna look like next year, but like the development portion of where we at and the quarterback we have and the moves that we're making, and it's like this window is open.
Yeah.
We want to develop for the future, but we still want to have impact players now. So there's like, how are they looking at? Like, I wonder what's their thought process of now and the future.
Well, and also let's think about practice. Like, if you look at somebody like Trey Harris going against Trey Amos in practice every day, they made each other better at being able to be physical, being able to play those type of guys. Well, do we have really a defensive line that's going to be able to make Connerly, Coleman, and those guys better up front, right? Look, I love our guys. I think that they're going to do well with Joe Witt and company. But just speaking of what they're going to be facing, it's not like they'll be facing that level of player every Sunday. And that's what we want to be able to replicate. We want to be able to build a juggernaut, and iron sharpens iron, so to speak. And so you need to bring in some strong iron.
Yeah.
Maybe a joint practice or two. You know what I mean? Against different, organizations that we're playing in preseason. Do y'all remember last year they were talking about they may take training camp on the road this year?
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
Training camp will be in D. I know that for a fact. Training camp will be in Ashburn. Yeah.
Okay. Because they were saying how they like team bonding and stuff like that. So they were like, it was a possibility that they could take it on the road. So I don't know if they can that idea yet or not, but you say it's more likely
I'm pretty like
so stupid. Yeah.
Even with saying they're going, it's a chance that they're going to have one of the joint practices here.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think they did the they stayed out. I stayed there one time for at that little resort that's out Ashburn. They did that last year. It's really cool. But they supposed to have the seating and the fan experience, all that stuff is supposed to be real major this year, all the renovations and stuff.
But let me ask
this. Camp will be in Ashburn.
Training camp doesn't last the whole preseason. What week does training camp end? Like as far as training camp where they actually let fans come and partake?
I think usually a week before.
Yeah,
Sandy-
training camp usually go. Actual like training camp goes up to, I think like the week before the last game.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Yeah.
I think it's like 2 weeks before the start of the season that they stop the fan. Like it's like early on they allow the fans, and then they get into the real nitty gritty.
Yeah, for some reason I've been thinking that training camp only like 2 weeks. Like,
It seemed like that last year because every year flips. So last year we had 2 away games, so you didn't have as many training camp dates, right? Because they had to pack up, leave, go up there. Then we had the 2 joint practices too, so they left even earlier than what they would usually do. But now, since we have the 2 home preseason games this year, even if they do have a joint practice, you'll see more training camp days. But last year, it seemed like we didn't have as many because we didn't, because they had 2 away games.
okay.
And they joint practice both of those away games.
Mhm.
I think it's about that time, dude. I'm tired.
Yeah, I don't know. Shout out to Gabe Taylor. I don't know if y'all
Yeah.
talked about that.
Yeah, rookie minicamp invite.
Cannot wait.
So when is rookie minicamp? Do y'all have a date? I
Should
know it
be
gotta
next week,
either
right?
This week or this
I thought it was
next
May.
weekend.
No,
May is next week.
like Thursday.
oh, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
May is like Thursday or something like that.
Did Lattimore come to voluntary?
We didn't get a count for real. He wasn't in none of the videos. But that's not to say, like he
That's
wasn't
true.
in. I mean, we didn't get a video of Biotish, and we knew he was there.
the big uglies don't get any limelight, man. Come on.
But I think if he was there, they would have made it known. They did like with Debo. I don't
Yeah.
think Tunsil was there either. But
Sure, man. We got better this weekend, y'all.
you got a message. You got a message, Smoke.
How many team sacks we got? We got 43 from last year.
Oh my god, man! Hey, it's about
I
that
just count
time.
it differently. Like I done seen them say tie for 5th, tie for 6th, tie for 7th, tie for 9th, and now it come to sacks. It's like no, we're 11th because of what? A mysterious alphabetical or numerical like order.
It's not mysterious.
It is mysterious, bruh. If I don't care, young, like if I average 28.1, Detroit averaged 28.1, Buffalo averaged 28.1, we tie for first in points per game. I'm not first, they not second, and the other team not third. I am sorry. That math does not math. I'm sorry, young. Man, you know what? I restrained so hard from like looking this guy up. Man, I swear, bro. I was gonna look this dude up, man. I had nephew on that. Oh, I need that IP address.
You gotta relax, Smokey.
Hey man, that's what we got.
It just don't make sense, man. It don't make sense, young. Like it was 63, 56, 54, and then 2 teams tied with 49, 2 teams tied with 46, 3 teams tied with 45, and then we were tied with 43. Man, we tied for 7th, man. I don't care what nobody says. Heck, somebody gonna be in front of me. We both got 43 sacks. Why they ain't 11th? Why I'm not 10th? You know what I'm saying? I'm fighting in here.
Hey man,
I ain't mad at you. But yeah, we saw that. We saw that deal. They're gonna announce it tomorrow. Can't wait.
What happened?
You know, the stadium, DC, they reached a deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, $3 billion deal for RFK, DC, and the Commanders.
Okay, that's great. That's
Never a doubt.
Yeah, I only know why I'm not excited though. Probably it's the long drawn out probably because I'm just tired. When I see those stadium renderings, baby,
Let me get that moat.
and that DC property, when they get the call, hey, look, we give you.
Need the moat with
30% over market value. I'm like, nah, call me back. Call me back. I can't wait.
Dudes, you got to do a video of going down to the current RFK site. Like you said, you guys reached a deal. Where's this new stadium at?
They might be down there tomorrow. I should go down there. I don't know. Get on TV. Yeah, I don't know. All right, DT. I don't filibuster.
Yeah, man. So
He put it. Look at Trey. He put it. Look how many times he put it in the chat. Look.
Yeah.
So he put it like
That's
100
why I
times.
ignored
Look
it.
at
I
that.
was like, bro, you late.
Look how late he is, Smokey. Look at him.
Yeah, this dude.
What's up,
He
Camille?
ain't never on time.
Hey, look though, but tune in for this week for the on the Huddle podcast, the Command Time podcast, and enters the Lab podcast and Ins and Out D podcast. So it's gonna be a full week of podcasts as we recap the draft and look at the roster makeup and what we expect for this off season.
Hey, Kyle, when you going on? You taking a break?
What do you mean?
You taking a vacation from podding?
No.
You going straight through to the
Yeah,
summer?
oh yeah, man. Always. That's all. I don't take vacations. Typically, the only time I did was like on my honeymoon. But I will say, man, just come follow the Burgundy Zone. Same old stuff. Wednesdays, Sundays, YouTube, all the podcasting platforms you can find us on, of course. And it's going to be a fun off season, man. I'll tell you. It's been a pleasure doing this draft show with you guys. Gonna miss it. Smoke, it was a pleasure being able to finally meet you from the spaces. And I had a lot of fun this year. You guys really made me continue to get better. And it's crazy because DT, Smoke, dudes, you guys all hit people that were late in this draft class. And it was obviously pivotal and made me better as an evaluator. So I appreciate your guys' time and everyone watching, of course, and in the chat and everything. They've always been funny making this time. And it's lots of laughs.
You guys
Appreciate it, Kyle.
Yeah, man.
Smoke, what you got?
Hey man, we got better after this weekend. Whole lot of competition. Hey man, let's go pick up where we left off at, man. And that's what it's about. I'm thankful for these Sunday nights. You know what I mean? Doing this pod with y'all, man. A lot of knowledge. Some fans didn't get who they wanted, but at the end of the day, let's trust the process. Don't look back. We're not going that way. I'm out.
appreciate all of you, DT. Appreciate you. You came on late last year, Kyle. 2 to 4 years. Shout out to Ken. Shout out to I want to say Andy, but it's not Andy.
Adam.
There you go. Shout out to Adam. Continue to keep him on your mind. Smokey, appreciate you coming on this year, helping us out. Radar in the background, appreciate you. We didn't get to see your face once again. I know what you look like. You just don't want people to know what you look like, which is probably a good idea. I wouldn't want nobody to know I look like that either. Shout out to Radar. All of you in the chat, man. Appreciate all of you for the time that you spent with us. A lot of people really love the show. We might got to start earlier next year. This past year kind of surprised us, to be honest. We didn't know we was gonna be doing actual content with the team as late as we did, but we definitely is going to look at kind of starting earlier next year so we can actually get through all the positions. But we know through all this time, your time was very valuable, and we appreciate that for using your time with us. Just remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.
All right, boys.